Glenn, like, hey, the wind has picked up quite a bit. Like it started out at 3 knots when he started, and like it just kept crawling and crawling up. John, if you're a deckhand, would you want to be in night watch? Because most nights is probably like the easiest job, right?
It's the easiest job, but like I would fall asleep. I'm not
pressure's on you too.
Yeah, I know. So I wouldn't be the best night watch guy. I'm a day guy, you know?
Yeah, because 9 times out of 10, you're just looking at your phone the entire time. But then that one time where like things actually get crazy, like it's all on you, like to make that call.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I would not want to be on night watch.
Yeah.
Gary and John Luke do it all last year.
Yeah, I think. Well, he didn't like John Luke, so it was just like a punishment, and it kept him like away from John Luke. But anything else, Sean? Before we go into who won and who lost the episode, obviously we're going to see next episode what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think that's mostly it. Ashley like got up to see Tom at like 4:30 or 5 a.m. Is that when her day starts?
It's like 5. It was like 5:30.
Oh, so that might actually be when her day starts. I thought she like set an alarm in the middle of the night just to make out with Tom for a minute and then go to bed. Yeah,
could be a good foreshadowing of maybe they do continue to hook up.
There's some chemistry.
Be great for Gary. Doesn't have to worry about Ashley just hitting on him relentlessly.
Will Gary want Ashley now that she's unavailable? You might have to watch out for that.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But who do you have? Let's go into awards, Sean. Who'd you have winning the episode?
So just this episode, I know it's a to be continued. I had Tom because for the 60 minutes we got, great Tom. We got to see a different side to him while talking about his friend's dad. Like, I liked how he like talked to Glenn about it. And he's like, yeah, like I want to stay. Like he's kind of like brought up like, yeah, friend's dad's in the coma, really close. So I liked the way he handled that. Whatever you think of Ashley, she's a hot girl. So go Tom. Like
yeah,
she's really good looking. Like whatever you think of her. Also, we saw he set up the tent all by himself last week, really fast too. So he looks way more valuable when you see the girls and Gary, not being sexist, and Gary, all 4 of them struggling to put up that tent.
His like tents above replacement are off the charts.
Yeah. He's he's the missing link there. Like, hey,
exactly.
He looks so good by just staying on deck and like watching them struggle. And I'm not sure if he should have called for help earlier. We'll find out next episode. But within these 60 minutes, I had Tom winning. John, how about you?
Yeah. So I actually had Tom as well. Basically for the same reasons you mentioned. I will say I almost picked Glenn though, because I feel like, Glenn had that moment with Tom about his mate's dad, and he kind of was. You saw Glenn kind of like in like a chuckle session with Gary and Colin. So like I think Glenn's like, I know he's the captain, but he feels like one of the crew a little bit more than some of the other captains. So I really like that about him.
Yeah. Him, Gary and Colin. That's a great squad. Like those guys like busting each other's balls and stuff. And is Glenn single?
I think.
What if Glenn hooked up with one of the girls? That would be like a heel turn for him.
He'd be like rubbing it in Gary's face for a while.
I would love to see that happen. Even if he would get in trouble, I'm sure. John, who should have losing the episode?
This is a tough one because I feel like
agreed.
No one really had like a tough episode. But I guess like Ashley kind of lost the episode.
Okay.
I wasn't thrilled with her like she went to Daisy to basically like hope Daisy would like shit on Gabriella, which she didn't at all. And then
really backfired.
Obviously really backfired. And then there's the whole tent situation. I guess I could have given it to Kelsey too, because Kelsey didn't care. But I really didn't think anyone lost the episode. Just not a great episode for Ashley.
Yeah, Ashley had a bad work performance.
Yeah.
I'll give her that. This was tough. There was not an obvious answer this week. I went with Kelsey, who I find very endearing. And I think she's kind of funny, like, flossing with her hair. But she's basically not in the show. Like, she would fill the Colin role as like, hey, this is a person other people talk to. And maybe they have a few like funny quips here and there. But Colin's already there, and he's the best at that anyone will ever be of being the Colin of the show. And like, it's almost like she has like problematic tweets or something. Like, it's like they edited her out of the show, which I know they didn't.
Dude, didn't happen with but like didn't that happen with somebody a couple
with
years
Pete.
ago?
With Pete,
yeah.
Below Deck Med season 5, yeah.
Like halfway through the season, they just like changed everything like they re-edited the show to like take him out of it.
If you want to,
I don't think that happened.
I wouldn't recommend it, but if you Google Pete Below Deck Med, like Instagram post, it's offensive, but it's also confusing. And it's weird. Like, you walk away from looking at his post and you're just like you're like, that's wrong, but also like, what does it even mean? It's very confusing too. Weird guy. I don't know. I hope we get a little bit more Kelsey later this season, but I don't know how we would.
Yeah, I keep saying I think she's gonna have a strong second half of the season, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Yeah, like strong second half doing what?
I don't know.
She's
like, if you double her screen time, she's still like the least aired by a mile.
Yeah. She's basically not in the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had her losing, but because there wasn't an obvious answer.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Sean, so in lieu of question of the week, we've got a little announcement here.
Yes, we
do. In the spirit of March Madness, the Overboard Podcast Network is putting together a Below Deck edition of March Madness bracket style to determine the best Below Deck season of all time. So we've put it out on our Twitter. Twitter is mainly where it's going to be, Sean. So the Overboard _pod is where we're going to put the polls up. So we actually started putting up the polls today, March 21st. And what's going to happen is Sean has gone ahead and put together, some seeding. So like some historically strong seasons versus less strong seasons. So what's going to happen is we're going to recap each round on our podcast based on the votes that come out for the upcoming week. So if you're listening to the podcast right now, go to Overboard _pod on Twitter, and you're going to be able to vote on everything. And then based on the votes, we're going to get to right now we're at 16, right, Sean?
Yep.
And we've broken it out. So Legacy, Below Deck Legacy is on one side, and then Below Deck Med / Sailing Yacht is on the other side.
Right. And the winner of each side will face off in the finals. And
exactly.
John, I was going to say, like, look, there might be some surprises. This is totally fan listener votes. I think the early favorite you'd have to probably say is Below Deck season 3, the one with Rocky in it.
Rocky, yep.
But I know we got a strong Sailing Yacht season 2 contingent.
Yeah.
Maybe like Below Deck season 6 where Ashton gets thrown overboard. I'm not. There's gonna be some tough matchups.
Wait, would the 3 versus 6 have to go in the first round?
Oh no! Well, that was the season number.
Oh, the seasons of them. Yeah,
I think I had Below Deck season 3 as a 1 seed, and Below Deck season 6 as a 2 seed.
Got it.
They might have to clash in a few weeks. We'll see though. Maybe an upset.
Yeah. So what? So round 1, which is a round of 16, is this week. It's going to end March 28th, and then round 2 is going to go the 8th, the 29th to the 4th. And then round 3 is going to be the final 4. It's going to go April 5th to 11th. And then round 4 is going to be the championship, April 12th to 18th. Now, Sean, I do foresee that we're going to have like a crescendo amount of votes. Like this round 16, since we're just putting it out today, I think we're going to get a good amount of votes from the listeners, but I genuinely think this is going to catch fire. And like, by the time it's like the final 4 or like the championship round, we're just like it's going to blow up, because who doesn't love this, right? It's March
Yeah,
Madness, baby.
everyone likes a good bracket. It's so one of the like most American things.
Yeah.
Like for like
Single elimination.
yeah. Everyone, hashtag Below Deck bracket too. But yeah, you'll see that on Twitter the next couple of weeks and everything. And if you don't
Yep.
have a Twitter, you know what? Sign up, do some voting, then get rid of it when this is over. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna make this happen. I think this is gonna get big. Sean, I will say if you go to we have a website too. So it's checkingpoints.com. So if you go to checkingpoints.com and you click on the latest article, it's March Madness Below Deck edition. It shows the bracket. So we've got, like you said, so Sailing season 2 is a 1 seed on one side, and Below Deck season 3, Legacy, is on the other side. So we're going to see how this is going to work out. I think it's going to be fun. Maybe this will be like forever, or until we have to like reinstall for new seasons, the Below Deck edition, for best season of all time.
I didn't include this season because we're already midway through all this season rules though.
Yeah.
And I didn't include Below Deck season 1 because there's an episode missing. I think something weird happened on it, so they got rid of it. And also that season was entertaining, but it was weird.
Yeah,
like it was like a different show. So I OG Below Deck season 1, it's not included just because we're missing an episode. That season was like 6 episodes long. So
yeah, and I've seen that season. I don't think anyone would be like, oh, we got cheated out of this. Like I was gonna have that go the whole way.
It's super weird. It's like so different.
Yeah. So that's that. And yeah, just hey, and let us know if you think the listeners, let us know if you think Sean screwed up the seedings at all. I think he did great, but we'll see what happens. So
yeah, Sean, we'll see.
So
I like Below Deck mid season 2 more than most people, but
yeah. But that's also like why we did this, right? So that's why the seeds don't matter at some point. So Sean, let's get into some life advice.
Yes.
So we got our guy calling in here, and very heavy engagement with Twitter with us. So I appreciate our guy messaging in here. He goes, found you guys last season of Sailing Yacht season 2. Been a fan since. Thank you. So here's his life advice. The wife and I have always loved to watch engaging shows together while having a few adult beverages for quite a long time now. We've never been much for going out to bars anymore since we have 2 boys, 10 and 12 years old. Not that we want to, but we've reached a very happy midlife suburban family quietness stage and are content. Hey man, good for you. Whatever works,
Mm-hmm.
And the pandemic, however, seemed to magnify this. Recently, after an episode in the past few months of your show, Sean kept raving about Summer House / Winter House. Oh boy, don't I know it. We ran out of current Below Deck, and one night we popped on demand of Summer House. It was like crack. After a few episodes, we were hooked. However, I realized this seemed to cause my wife and I to drink even harder than usual. Typically, we'd watch Below Deck and have a 6-pack, but suddenly we found ourselves polishing off a 12-pack while screaming at Ashley and Lauren's meddling in Kyle's antics. Sean, you probably know what that means.
That's season 1 of Summer House.
There you go.
Ashley and Lauren, not my favorite.
There you go. I realize we can't keep up sending it on the weekday nights and making an 8 a.m. work the next day difficult. God help us if my wife brings home a magnum of rosé one night. Boy, oh boy. How can we find a happy medium? I partially blame the issue on Sean as well as our twins since they are so infuriating at times. Yeah, Sean. So you're causing some. You're a homewrecker here, man.
The season 1 of Summer House is not my favorite. The Workist twins, Ashley and Lauren, they get rid of them after 2 seasons. So, but yeah, they're the main characters the first season. Yeah.
So I jumped into whatever current season is now of Summer House. First off, I have no idea what's going on. The only thing I know, Paige is there because she's from like Loudonville, like right by Siena. And I know there were some guys from Southern Charm that were on there.
Yeah.
I know nobody, but man, is the drama just flowing. I can see why like you get amped for this show.
Oh yeah.